Go. Go. So John just turned 45 2 weeks ago. He's been a hard worker for a tool manufacturing company for almost 20 years, working his way up from the warehouse to upper management. When the company downsized, he was fired for no real reason except for reconstruction of duties within the company. I swear this is nothing to do with that situation. When his wife found out, she was understanding. But after a month of job interviews where John was told he was either too old or overqualified, she left him and took their 2 children with her. Without any income, the bank foreclosed on his house, and he had to declare bankruptcy. A week later, he was living on the street with $12 in his pocket and 1 change of clothes. Without a home mailing address, John can't get a job anywhere. Not knowing what else to do, he spent his last $12 on a meal and a cheap bottle of wine. He then went and sat down in an alleyway with some other homeless people to drink his wine. John has no other family to turn to, and he's ready to give up trying. Should John give up?
Yes, it's an easy way. Yes.
So, Allison.
No, I don't think you should. There's
Yeah.
there's lots of resources now for people who are homeless and
Yeah, and that's not mentioned here,
Lots of
like
stress.
the homeless shelters, like that kind of stuff.
there's lots of resources for him to go to. It's not like
Right.
like
And it's funny that he had $12 left. That's like a rare occurrence that you're like, oh, I've got this 10, but that's it.
Just make the homeless people his family.
What probably happened is he got the $10 that he had left, and then 2 people thought he was homeless to get into it.
$2. Yes, he's got to be busking. That's the other thing. He's not playing his guitar for people. Does anybody else have any weigh in on that? The bigger question is there any chance for John to get his life back on track with the way the world is today?
No.
maybe.
Allison makes a good point. There are resources for the homeless.
You could rob a bank.
You can't roll a
You
bank.
wouldn't want to rob a bank necessarily. You
You
could.
could rob a bank for $1, and then you get 3 square meals a day.
Say it again? Rob a bank for $1?
A guy
How
did
could you
that.
get 3 square meals with $1?
Prison.
Prison. Oh.
That is true. Homeless
I mean,
people do that.
Yeah,
You
prison
get a
doesn't
place to
help
lay
with
your
the,
head, you get some nice food.
yeah,
Medical care.
prison doesn't help with the job market, let me tell you, but, you do get fed, you do get to bed, it's better than homeless maybe. Yeah, depends on the jail you're in, if you're in like a pretty, tough prison, it's probably not worth it.
Make sure you're getting good with one of the gangs.
Yeah, but even that's dangerous. Yeah, I think this is a little extreme. This is something that Mr. Martinelli had put together at one point. I like it. It's kind of fun to talk about, but it is extreme. Like that the guy loses his entire life in a couple weeks.
I think how ironic it is how close to your thing.
The beginning. The rest of it. My girlfriend hasn't left me. I have no kids. I won't be declaring bankruptcy.
More than $12 probably.
Yeah, I got like $1 in my pocket right now, but there's more in the bank. So, it's something to think about. It's kind of, scary. Because those things, this guy's life is perfectly on track. I'm gonna tell you, it happens. Older people, it's like the hardest thing. But, especially with technology rapidly improving, you're 50, 60 years old and you still need to be working. You're not quite done yet, like ready for retirement, but you lose your job because of downsizing. It's a bad economy. It's getting better over time. The last 5, 8 years, it's been slowly improving. But people lose their jobs and they are like too old to get back on the job market. When you're 50, 60 years old, you can't bag groceries even at Market Basket as quick. So everybody looks at you
I
as.
don't know. There's a lot of people that are pretty old there now.
Yeah, and there are. No, you're right. It is true that there are some, but you get looked at like, oh, you're going to be, slow and old.
Yeah, that's true.
The Walmart group is.
Very quickly related to this, I am going to relate, not my current situation, but the situation I was in. I just want to put it in perspective for you guys. The world we're in, kind of weird place we're in. I graduated with a master's from UNH, and right after I was done with that, I moved out to get a teaching job in Ohio to be with my girlfriend. And so I get out there in February. Schools aren't looking for teachers in February. I pulled a Mr. Wiles, really, except I wasn't a teacher at the time. I'd finished up my internship, but moved same part of the country. I you know, just packed my bags and looked for work at a terrible time to look for teaching work. That being said, also you need to get an FBI background check to be a teacher. Make sure you're not like doing naughty things out in your personal life. It took 9 months for them to clear my background check in Ohio. So I couldn't work until they did that. So I was out in Ohio expecting this to go through, and I couldn't be a licensed teacher.
9 months.
So I'm going around looking for jobs, and my other class laughed, and I'm not revealing something about myself here. I applied to every store on this like main drag of stores in Columbus, Ohio, and the only place that gave me an interview at all was a head shop, like, you know, glassware, bongs, like that. Only place that called me back. Okay, so I go in, I'm like, you know, all right, little weird, I didn't see this coming, but I need a job. Like I was in an apartment, I needed to pay rent. So I go and I interview with the guy, and you know, we interviewed for about 20 minutes, and like, you know, it was gonna be a sketchy job. I was gonna be working like at 2 in the morning. It was a 24-hour shop.
No